Hello everybody, Turiosaurus here. Hope you are all doing fantastic. I am doing great, thank you. Today we have a very special Mountain Blade Warband tutorial video. I am going to show you guys all about joining a kingdom and the advantages and disadvantages to that. Now, I've done quite a bit of off-camera video stuff just to kind of show you guys what's going on. And just as a little show of what can happen after being here for quite some time. I own a factory, quote-unquote factory, in every single city that there is in the game. Most of them are dye works, just because dye works produce big profits, as you can see. I believe that long-term, having this many of one type of thing is actually a really bad idea, because you're going to ruin the economy for that type of resource. But in the short term, it is huge having this many dye works because you're just going to get so much money. So as an example, my party costs 2,000 dinar a week just to uphold. But I gain over 4,000 from these guys. And I have no rents. I don't own any cities or anything like that yet, so I'm not getting money from that. That is purely based off of the cities and my productive enterprises. Now, also to give you guys a little heads up, I do have a massive army gathered, 111 strong. We have our Timoner back. I had to lend him to someone actually in order to gain his relation so that I could buy stuff in Nara. But what we're here for today, and I've digressed for too long, is to join with a faction. Now, I personally prefer to join the Nords. I'm big on Vikings and all that stuff, and they are Vikings, or as close as I can get to it as far as units go. You know, no cavalry and all that jazz. Definitely like joining them. The other thing to note is what party you want to fight last. So I want to join these guys. There is going to be a downside to that, right? So this is going to be a tutorial on everything. Joining these guys is both good and bad. It is good because I want to fight with them and I want to expand their kingdom. If I wanted to just make them rule the globe, that would be fantastic. However, we will eventually start our own kingdom as part of the tutorial for that. And these guys are very strong, which means that eventually I will have to go to war against the Nords. And the more I help them, the stronger they become. So that's just something to keep in mind when you are doing your own playthroughs, is that if you plan on starting your own kingdom, you may want to avoid letting one faction become too powerful. Now, on that note, I usually like to leave these guys, the Rodoks, for last, because while they have very strong crossbowmen, they don't have very strong of much anything else. And my Vagar marksmen shoot faster than their crossbow guys do, and can tend to take them out on a ranged battle. Now, that being said, when these guys hit, they hit like trucks. So make sure you have a strong shield wall protecting those archers because they're going to need it. But again, I have digressed. This is going to be a rather long video just due to the nature of what it is. So we're going to go to the castle. We command a strong army. We've won a lot of battles, won a ton of tournaments. So the king is going to greet us in a very good way when we come here. Yeah, you're known as a brave man-at-arms and a fine leader of men, blah blah. So we're gonna join him, we're gonna keep clicking. There's some cool dialogue there if you're into the kind of, you know, aesthetic of the game. Definitely check that out. We're currently at war with the Vagars. Something to keep in mind when you're at war with the Vagars, your party, who are Vagars, are not gonna have very good morale. So just something to watch for. And the longer you stay in their territory killing their men, the worse their morale will get. Now, since we have become a vassal, we should have Meccan. Okay, so we were gifted the town of Meccan, which is... Where is Meccan at? I believe Meccan is right here. Aha. And it's looted. So not a great start to our to our vassalage right now. Okay, so we're about to get attacked by this guy, which isn't great. Probably gonna bloop, pop these guys up. We're gonna make them all Huskarls. Spam that Control X to get them experience. There we go. So with a full party of 109 of these guys, they are all max level. I have max level archers, max level knights on horses, max level infantry. Costs about 2,200. So just something to keep in mind when it comes to your cost. Oh, and that is, of course, with a leadership skill of 9. And each point reduces my troop wages by 5%. So yeah, it's expensive having an army this big and this strong. Just something to keep in mind. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, let me see here. Our town is already looted. Basically, the first thing you want to do is because it takes so long to improve anything on your towns, as soon as you get it, if you have the money, build an improvement on there. I usually go with, I want to say, a millworks first. It increases the prosperity of the town, so when it gives you rents, you should get more money. The other thing that you can do is, of course, take castles and loot other people's towns. As you take castles, you have the opportunity to ask that they be gifted to you, thus building your own thing. Again, this is probably better if you're going to stay with one nation, because I believe that when you desert that nation, if you own any of their towns, they take them from you. So something to keep in mind, especially if you have men stationed in those towns, because if they take them, that means that they take your men as well. So one other thing that you can do is if you find a town that's under siege, such as this one was, well, it was under siege, you can actually go into the town and then wait, which will allow you to defend it. Now I'm going to join in and rush to the aid of Jarl Tedagor, or whatever his name is. I'm going to tell my men to hold this position. My infantry are going to hold here. My archers are going to hold here. My cavalry hold here. So I am basically trying to prevent everybody from getting murdered. Now, one cool thing is that when you are facing another army, they tend to move as an actual army would have. So they move in a way where they kind of slowly advance forward as they go. And you can use that to your advantage. For instance, by trying to take out their leader straight off the bat. Now, as to whether this is actually one of the Vagar leaders, I'm not sure. It could just be a Malmut, or a Malamute, whatever you want to call them. But one thing that you can do, and especially if you're going to stick with one faction, kind of recommend it, is you can rush to the aid of your allies whenever there's a battle going on. Something that's really good to do if you have a strong army like I do. And when you rush to their aid, if you win, do keep in mind that you need to win these battles, of course, is they will be rather thankful for you, or to you, of course. And that thankfulness comes with relation, which helps you kind of move up in the world within your kingdom, which is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, I just told my cavalry to charge in because I'm getting a little bit outnumbered here. And my cavalry are knights, so they're all rather strong. Here we go. I have really good armor. I have a lot of health, so I'm not in too much danger of getting taken out. Really, the only thing that's a big threat to me is going to be lances. So anybody that I see with a lance, they are target numero uno. Now we're going to come down here and try and take that guy out. All right. Now we're going to have everybody, formation, advance 10 paces. Now, it looks like I only had one of my infantry actually get to join the battle, which is not great. It's never fun when that's the case. Sadly, it does happen. So whenever you rush to the aid of someone, do take note of the cap you have set on the number of people that can be in a battle. Because eventually what's going to happen is what just happened to me, where I joined in, and because my ally had men coming into the battle as well, it restricted the number of my men that could enter the battle. And when that happens, you get stuck in positions like we're in right now, where you have weaker guys with you. Now luckily, my men are strong enough that it really doesn't make much of a difference actually, because I can just take them out. That's the advantage to having such a high-tiered army. While it costs so much to maintain them, you can easily take out armies much larger than your own. Because most of the size of most armies, of course, not all armies, is made up of rather weak people, like all of these stinking looters and recruits that we see down here, all these footmen who are really quite easy to take out. So you just kind of go through and you stab them and you do your thing. Highly recommend that you buy a war horse once you get the riding skill for it. It is so useful to have a war horse. I can't even say. Just that a regular horse would be dead like 10 times over by now. And that's really what it all boils down to, is how long can your horse survive? Because eventually you'll get to the point where you won't die, like I am right now. But you still have to worry about your horse. Your horse can't level up like you can. You just have to hope that it makes it. Alright, so I believe that we've won this battle, which is good. There may be more than one wave. There is more than one wave. So I'll actually get back with you guys after I've done finishing this battle, and we can get into the other sides of being a vassal for a country. Alrighty guys, after an incredibly long battle, we get to see the spoils of that. Our relation with our kingdom increased by 4. Our relation with this guy increased by a ton, because we basically just saved his life. We got 1 imperial prisoner, which is amazing. These guys are worth a ton of money if you want to capture them. I'm not going to bother because they, slow us down. Whatever. Generally, the only reason I even get prisoner management, at least on this character, is there are quests you can get where you capture X number of the enemy troops and you can trade them for people, etc., etc. Lots of loots, lots and lots of loots. Some of it quite high quality. A Vader war helmet that can sell for a ton, as well as all the spike caps, horseman's shield. You can get horses and stuff. So definitely lots of stuff to win there. This guy got a little bit eradicated, but that is what it is. What I'm gonna try and do, and we got a thingy from our marshal. You must report to the marshal, blah blah blah. He wants to siege Newdark Castle. Well, Newdark Castle is already ours, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But long story short, he wants us to report to him. You don't necessarily have to actually do that. It's probably a good idea. Just given your desire to be in good relation with your faction, it's good to report to him. He's happy that we have pledged. We are ready to join. Now, this part is very important. They don't require you to stay, but if you do stay, they'll give you side quests and stuff to do. So if you need to increase your relationship with someone, staying near the army is a good way to do so. Now, I personally don't, and we have a rather large army ourselves, so I am going to actually go out here to the edge of their territory. Oh wow, there's actually quite a few of them out here. Generally speaking, being on the edge of their territory is a really safe way to go somewhere and raid them. So like right here, right? This castle has no lord in it, so it's not going to ride out. You could go to Haru and then you could take hostile action and you could loot and burn the village. Now you lose honor when you do that, I do believe. So it's not necessarily the best idea, but what you can do is besiege the castles there. And as you besiege the castles, because you're so far out of the way, there's not many people who are going to be able to take you out. And especially since I have a high engineering skill in the party, it only takes me 4 hours to build a thing. So we're going to assault a castle. This is one of the best parts of being on another faction's team, is that we get to do this. Haha. Now, currently, I have a primarily ranged unit army, which does not help with my ability to take these things. I mean, it does because my initial damage is great, but eventually my guys will run out of arrows, and we won't be able to kill them all based off of that. Now, I'm going to try and take out that guy. There we go. And I'm going to also try and take out this guy. Oh, I missed. How should I adjust? Got him that time. Let's try that. Oh, I think I hit the wall in front of him. Now, as you can see, you can get pretty pinpointed with these dang things. Doesn't always guarantee that you're going to hit them like every single time, though. But you can get fairly pinpointed. And the more that you do, the better you'll get at taking out these guys. Now, the reason that I'm trying to take out all of these guys is because you'll notice that my guys are shooting an awful lot of ammunition into the wall, essentially, trying to kill these guys. And the way to avoid this would actually be if I was to go to fire, hold your fire. And then what you want to do is you tell them to hold their fire. And then you wait until there's a good number of guys back up at the wall. And that's when you would tell them to fire at will again. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to wait. Looks like there's a decent number of them up there. We're going to fire at will now. And I am going to try and take out these guys. Oh, I think that might have hit him had he not been moving. Yep, it would have. So as soon as he peeps his little head out again, then I'm going to fire a shell at him up there. No. Okay, it appears that my men have now ran out of ammunition. And this is the problem with having so many archers in your army. So I'm going to have my infantry follow me. Going to have my archers hold back. Now, because I'm so high level and I have armor as high as I do, I could probably take this castle on my own with just these guys as my backup. It's not necessarily the best idea, but you can. Another tactic you can do is you can actually retreat. And because you've killed so many men, you don't actually lose much morale. And then you can attack again. And because you can attack again, your ammunition is renewed. Then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Or alternatively, if you have a ton of health and armor and stuff, you can just do this and just start hacking and slashing people down. Now, I will eventually probably go ahead and retreat down just so that my guys can get new ammunition. Oh, I messed up my stab there. There we go. Yep. So generally, what I'm trying to do here is eventually they will forget that you're kind of on their walls, and they'll ignore you. So what I try and do is I try and take out as many of these guys as I can. The more of their skirmishers and archers and stuff that I can take out in the first place, the more likely I am to be able to easily take out the castle on the next siege. So it's kind of important that I kill as many of these guys as I can. There we go. So I have one shot. Ah, dang. Okay, well, that's pretty much it for that. So then your next tactic is, of course, to to run away. Because you can't retreat when there's enemies nearby. Forgot that bit. Little cheeky way to get out of here would be to... you know what? I've got some Huskarls. I've got my shield. Got all this. I think we're going to go the coward's way out. We're going to go... Wah! Sha! Sha! There we go. Now my Huskarls are going to kick the living daylights out of those guys for a little bit. Meanwhile, I've gotten down here so I can retreat. The one downside to retreating like that is that you will lose people sometimes. They'll get knocked out, they'll get injured, something like that. But you notice that my party actually gained morale. So you can just kind of repeat this, rinse and repeat over and over until eventually they run out of people. And they will run out of people at some point. So then you lead your troops in an assault. We go ahead and we say wait. My infantry follows me right here. Again, I've only got like 2 of them. It happens. You know, it is what it is. But all of my Vagrant marksmen being here means that we will once again take out a ton of their guys. Now this time I'm going to conserve my ammo as much as possible and only go after their ranged units. I'm going to leave the infantry to my men, let them take them out. I'm going to try and take out these guys myself. There we go. Oh, needs to be a little higher. Fire at will! This will likely be a multi-series thing. I didn't realize how long this would actually take. So I think I might actually cut it there. But long story short, one of the big perks of being a vassal of a state is that you can assault places without creating an enemy of the world. Because as long as you're at war with them already, not too big of a deal to really anybody. You're at war, that's part of what it is assaulting their castles, burning their villages, all that jazz. So yep, that's definitely one of the big advantages is you can attack places like this without becoming a bandit, essentially. The other advantages that I can think of, let's see here, you get granted a fief immediately. So you'll get rents from that fief. As you upgrade it, you can get more and more rents, and you can protect it easier and all that jazz. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You get to own places without actually managing them yourself, which is really nice. And then when all is said and done, you get to help whatever faction you choose conquer the world. It is quite fabulous. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. As I progress through aiding the Nords and taking on castles and stuff, we will come back and I will do a little tutorial video on starting your own kingdom. But for now, I think I need to gain a little more reputation, win some battles and all that jazz. But anywho, as I said, this is being a vassal for people, and I hope that you all enjoy this video. You know, any comments for videos to make in the future, please put them down below. Definitely starting to run out of ideas if you couldn't tell, but I want to make this community more accessible for you guys, as I said in tutorial video number 1. But yeah, this is pretty much all I have for you, so I hope that you guys have enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.